Question, because we've been seeing lots of talking about reopening this industrial Kaesong complex. It wasn't moving very fast, but today we are seeing this trial reopening happening. There's cars going across the border. What's changed? Why do you think that's happened today?
Well, the South Korean government has been negotiating with the North Koreans over administrative safeguards on the site. The South Korean companies that operate there don't want to be held hostage or have the power or the water turned off while they're working there. These are the sorts of things that happened 6 months ago. And it's taken a while for the North Koreans to come around to agree to that. But the North Koreans really need the money that comes from the site, and the South Korean government really wants this project as an example of the interdependence between the two, and they're working together and stuff like that. And so there was a lot of incentive on both sides to clinch this deal.
I mean, I understand the North's financial incentive, but South Korea is a rich country. What real interest does it have in this park when it causes it so many problems?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there myself. I don't actually think that the park is a particularly good idea for my own sense of it. But the South Koreans, I think the South Korean government, and generally I think the South Korean population, would like some kind of interaction with the North, some sense that the North is not this sort of bizarre, fascistic, totalitarian, terrifying regime, but in fact that the two Koreas can interact and cooperate, there can be exchange and things like that. And Kaesong has really become like the big example that the two Koreas can in fact work together and cooperate. And so it's become a little bit raised up, I guess, in South Korean opinion is particularly important. Again, I don't actually think it is, but in South Korean public opinion it is so, and the current president really has stressed this a great deal since he's come into office.
Do you think it has any benefit on the lives of North Koreans?
No, not really, except for the few people who work there. There are about 50,000 people who work there. Unfortunately, when we talk about benefits, they don't actually get paid in any kind of hard currency. They're paid in North Korean won, which is one of the many problems with the facility. I suppose the only real benefit they do actually get some small gifts and things for working there. There is a kind of sub-economy in North Korea built around, this is true, built around the chocolate candy or chocolate cookie pies the workers are given. They're actually sold on the black market in North Korea. And then the people who work there do get exposure to South Korea, but the North Korean population gets very little. This is all the benefits are captured by the regime elite in Pyongyang.
Interesting. Another point to this is that they're trying to attract foreign investors this time around. But one wonders who on earth is going to want to invest in a park that is at risk at closing at any time.
Yeah, again, I tend to agree with that too. I'm amazed that the South Korean government sort of talks this way. They may say this just for the North Koreans to sort of keep them happy. The North Koreans would like all kinds of foreign investment. They can shake it down, as they do with Chinese investment and South Korean investment. The North Koreans don't actually treat it very properly. I think the South Koreans would also like it because it does suggest that the park has a life of its own, that the park is growing beyond the bounds of what it was created originally as, that it is in fact like sort of a special economic zone rather than just a local inter-Korean project. International firms' presence would also increase the likelihood the North Koreans would behave and not hold the location hostage, which they did in the crisis in the spring. But I doubt any major firm would come, and the safeguards they would require would be beyond anything the North Koreans would give.
Robert Kelly, very interesting to speak to you. Thanks for joining us there from Busan.
Thank you for having me.